So Lucas, tell me, if you were to give one piece of advice to somebody in leadership, what would it be?
I'll tell you, I got a great piece of advice a long time ago from one of the greatest people in the world, my mother. And that advice was, what's the worst thing that can happen? They're going to say no. And so have the courage to go out and ask. Have the courage to go out and fight, because what's the worst thing they're going to say? No.
So Lucas, tell me a little bit about your story. How'd you get started? Where you're from?
Sure, yeah. I originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Grew up there playing soccer.
Indians fan?
Of course.
There you go.
Of course. Indians and Browns.
Right, okay.
The reality is I'm just happy when they win anything.
Right.
We're on a roll right now, so it's good.
Yeah, well, my Giants aren't doing too well. So.
Yeah, well, that's good, because we've had plenty of our own losses.
Yeah.
But born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. All my family and friends are still there. Grew up playing soccer. Was fortunate enough to be on a club team that I got to travel the world playing soccer, and so it exposed me to more than just Cleveland.
Right.
And so I realized, in wanting to go to college, I wanted to go something a little bit farther than right next door. And so I ended up actually at the United States Military Academy at West Point. I was recruited to play soccer there, and not your normal school.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly the party atmosphere that you see in
Was soccer,
here.
was what you wanted? Do you want to be a pro soccer player one day, or what was
No,
it?
I enjoy playing. I still play to this day in an old man soccer league. But no, I love the game. I guess I got pretty good at it. And so when West Point came to me, it really turned the tide for me that it became a sport I could continue to play, but I was going to West Point because of the leadership. The leadership model, the leadership experience that really is, folks talk about masters, talk about what their degrees are in. I've got an aerospace engineering degree, but I went to school for leadership. It really is a leadership laboratory. And so that's what really drew me to it, was going to the leadership side. So following that, of course, I had a military obligation. So I did 10 years active duty service as a helicopter pilot. I was fortunate enough to pick up aviation. So I was an age 64 Apache helicopter pilot. Spent several rotations through the states, Fort Rucker, Alabama, where we train on aviation. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, was there with the 101st Aviation. And then overseas 2 years in Korea. And then came back to Fort Rucker and realized that at some point needed to start a family. My wife's a West Point graduate also. And so at that point we realized that we crossed paths too many times. We literally at one point crossed in the air. I was coming back from a deployment, and she was going to the deployment, and we waved.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, exactly. As we crossed paths. So we decided to get out and ended up moving here to Atlanta. I started working in a corporate world for GE Energy through their junior officer leadership program. Really exposed a lot of different corporate concepts and really a lot of learning. At that point, I was 10 years in theory behind my normal college peers.
Right.
But I had the leadership side, and so it was really just rounding the edges and getting me up to speed. And so I've been out of active duty now for about 14 years, and have been moving around in the corporate world, and currently work for an air pollution control company, international company that we do great things by cleaning up the air. If you have large process mining, steel mills, we clean that air before it goes up the stack.
What was it like making that transition from the military to civilian business world?
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That first day I walked into GE Energy, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was able to fool somebody enough in an interview that they believed in me.
There you go.
But the reality was I really didn't know what I was getting into. The fortunate thing, again, going back to the leadership side, is the military instills in you flexibility. You've got a mission to do, but you don't know all the ingredients. I had moved probably 6 or 7 times, so going into a new role was normal.
Right.
It was just in a different capacity.
Yeah.
I think in the leadership side, in the corporate world, I think too often folks get marred down in what their current role is, and when they get moved into that next position, they're very comfortable where they came from, and they keep doing what they did before.
Right.
And you've got to realize that you're always got to be looking and working towards that next opportunity.
Challenging.
And challenge yourself, and also give the people behind you the opportunity to grow.
Right.
And so when I transitioned out and went through GE, it took a couple weeks of what am I really doing, and am I in the right place? Fortunately, the leadership program that I went through was set up for that. We did 3 8-month rotations, so I got exposure to multiple businesses. And after that 2-year program, moved into the black belt role that you hear of with GE. And then that kind of put me on the path, kind of caught me up, if you will.
Yeah.
But I was bringing along with me this skill set of leadership that's really worked for it.
And I think that's. I grew up in a public school, you know, and like it was just, structure.
Sure.
But there was no leadership training.
Right.
And like in my opinion, I think leadership training is something so key to someone's development. Even whether you want to be a CEO or an entrepreneur, even just working for a corporation, or having those skills, having those certain sets of leadership skills, it makes you so much more of an effective even employee. And in life, just navigating things. So it's great that you learn, you got those leadership skills right early on.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously in the military side, mission is everything.
Right.
Right. You have to accomplish the mission. And I think that gets lost in translation to the corporate side. Folks know what they're supposed to do. They know where they want to go, but they don't have that success or failure, gut that tells them, I'm going to knock down doors. I'm going to run through people to get this mission accomplished. Right. You got to soften it on the corporate side, but you still have to have that burn and that drive. Right. And I think that former military bring that to not only C-suite and leadership roles, but you got lots of experienced military throughout your ranks that are hungry for more. That's what we do. We want more. Put more on my back. Yeah. Put me out front. I'm going to lead. Yeah. And translating that into the corporate world, I think, is where you start to see the diamonds really surface.
One of the biggest things that I absolutely love about the structure of the military is that we reward those that are willing to sacrifice themselves for somebody else's glory, for somebody else's success. Whereas sometimes in the business world, you've got these business owners that want their employees to sacrifice everybody else for their success, and it's backwards.
It sure is.
It's backwards.
Yeah, it's a different mentality, and I every time I take on a new role, I tell my team, my job is to get in the way when the proverbial crap starts rolling downhill. Right. It's my job to get in the way, to protect them and shield them from that. So if you have a customer that's angry, if you have a product that doesn't work for some reason, it's my job to step out in front and take that round, if you will. Right. It allows them to continue to focus on doing the great things that they do. The flip of that is, when we're successful at something, I'm not even there. I get out of the way, I totally tout their success, because that's what drives people. Right. That recognition is what allows people to kick in doors and go, I'm going to do that again because I like that. Right. And give me more. I want to do more of that.
That's the key. Yeah. People think employers think, well, if I just give you more money. Well, some employees are like, I don't need more money. I love what I do. Right. I do it because I love doing it. Yeah. Not absolutely. That it's and I think that's the biggest thing. Like you were talking about, like you'll take the round, right? You'll take the round first because you're in leadership, and I think that's a great example of servant leadership, to where. Like I tell my employees all the time, like, you don't work for me, I work for you. I want to empower you. I want to make you the best leader I can, so we grow as an organization. And I want to get you where you want to go in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think where a lot of folks fail as you grow through the ranks is you have to realize that you're a power of one. Right. And that works when it's just you and you're at a computer. Yeah. But when you want to grow and you want to be a leader and you want to move into the C-suite levels. Yep. If you tie your hands to just you, you're only going to be as productive as you can be. Right. You really need to make you times 20,
you can't
times
scale.
200.
You have to scale.
You have to scale. Yeah. And then your role shifts. Right. You want to be able to identify problems. You should be experienced enough to know that something doesn't feel right. Right. But I will tell you, I can't design, an air pollution control piece of equipment. Right. But I can look at a drawing and I can go, this doesn't quite line up. We joke in the military, a lot of times the secret ingredients is when you got a whole bunch of people lined up and they're all in uniform together, people go, well, how do you know? Well, you don't know everything, but you can walk up and go, that's different than that, so one of them's wrong, right? And so in the corporate world, it's that same thing. You're going to find those folks that are doing the right thing, they're going to be successful, you're seeing results, and you put them next to somebody else who's doing a good job, but that bug's not there. And that will start to surface. And so they're not wrong, but you can see that, right?
You've got a book that you're working on. Let's talk a little bit about that. So what is it about?
Yeah, sure. It's called Battlefield to Boardroom.
Okay.
It's about thanks.
Yeah.
It's about tactical leadership in corporate combat. That's the subline. And what it is, it's really taking those leadership skills, the leadership traits that are so applicable in the military, that are necessary in the military, that get lost in corporate translation. One of the examples I'll give is the enemy, right? We know there's an enemy in the military.
Right.
It's gotten a lot more gray these days.
Yeah, right.
But there's always going to be a threat.
Right.
And we train for that, and we analyze that threat, and we make sure we are prepared for that threat. But you know what? There's an enemy in corporate America too.
Right.
That enemy is trying to take your shares. They're trying to lower your pricing. They're trying to get money out of your pockets so that it's better for them. It's a known thing. It's okay. Right. It's not bad.
Right.
But we all have competing demands.
Right.
And so you have to take the approach that there's an enemy out there. How are we going to solve that? And so the book really addresses, it's primarily focused around folks that are transitioning out of the military and letting them know that that skill set you're bringing needs to be applied. It absolutely is applicable. It's also for folks that have recently transitioned, and I went through this.
Yeah.
After about 3 years, I felt like I was in a corporate mud puddle.
Right.
Where I was amongst a lot of folks that worked 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. And at the end of the day, we went home and we had our family. And then we woke up the next morning and we came back again. And you just get in this muddy pit of just doing and doing it. Well, the military knows more than that. And this goes back to that putting it on my shoulders. It's looking for folks that have been in the corporate America for a little while and go, I can do more than this. It's reminding them that they can do that and being able to empower them. And then the last piece of it is about managers, leaders, the C-suites, knowing that if you need a go-to person, they're in your ranks. They're there. They want more. They want that recognition and that responsibility. And so it's pulling all of that together so that folks can make themselves better at what they do in the civilian world by taking those military lessons learned.
That's awesome. Yeah,
so
I have to ask, obviously, because I work in movies and stuff like that. Black Hawk Down. I'm surrounded by all these Black Hawks and everything like that. So, in your opinion, what is like the closest? Because I know we do Hollywood stuff, right? What is the movie that's closest to what's actually happening out in the field?
Oh gosh. From a military perspective?
Yeah, from military.
Oh gosh. I will tell you that I've been probably most impressed, and not in a great way, but most impressed with some of the documentaries.
Yeah.
I think folks that want a real feel for what it's like out there.
Yeah.
Some of those documentaries are hard to watch, but they're real.
Yeah.
And I like that it brings that reality to so many people. I mean, only 1% of the world serve, right? Or the Americans serve. Right. And so a lot of people just don't know. And so when you hear a lot about struggles of folks coming back, I deployed to Afghanistan in 13 and 14. And so there is still a fight going on. I know we've been at war a long time, and we all hope it ends, quickly. Right. But the reality movies are pretty real, and they're hard to watch at times.
Yeah.
I've had some close friends that have not come back. We know that's part of what we sign up for. Right. But it doesn't make it any easier when that happens. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, bringing it back to leadership, I really appreciate everything that you've done and obviously your service, but just as a business leader, you've got such great advice, and I wish you all the success on the book and everything like that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. Should be out here in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Appreciate it.